I want to give credit to Washington State. The Cougars came in here, outplayed us. I think that they had a stellar third quarter. They really punched us in the face and came out with a 9-0 run. Started very flat in the third quarter, and that's unacceptable. So honestly, they came in and manhandled us, and we should have lost the game. I think we fought back, and we came within 2 points. And then we had a technical foul, which led to two free throws. Then we're down four, and then a score. So then we're down six. So it's hard to bounce back just playing in the deficit the whole game. So it has to be a learning lesson. And, quite frankly, we deserve to lose the game.
Go ahead.
Well, in that third quarter, just you had to go to a more offensive lineup, and they brought you back. Just those five women that you had out there, it was Jade, and it was Mary, and Helena, and Kaylin, and Maddie. What do you have to say about the way they played?
I thought they played really good. I thought that they did decent defensively, and they scored some big buckets. Maddie scored. Kaylin came out on fire. There's a lot of firepower with that lineup. I think where it hurt us is when Maddie has to go to the four, and she has to guard Ula inside. And they did a good job of really exploiting that, and she scored. I mean, Ula doubled her average, 2 for 5, 7 for 11, really good stat line. And they did a really good job of knowing we played small, they pounded it inside, and they have shooters around the perimeter, so really hard to double. And I think they made us pay for that. But I think that the hard things for me to swallow as coach is, coming out 9-0. It wasn't tactic stuff. It wasn't like a play that we couldn't guard. It was off of a make, just running harder than us and getting layups, and that happened like 3 times. So I think those are just effort things and focus things. You may score a big basket. It's not time to celebrate. It's time to match up and run back, and those things happen today, and those are hurtful things because those are controllables, and that's just a lack of want. And I'm not saying we didn't want to win the game, but a lack of focus and determination to defend and to put it, like, climb back from a deficit. I think when you're down 2 and you go into third, you should be laser focused and you should be on it. And like in practice, we talk about stop scores. You should be locked in and focused, and that shouldn't happen because it's not a tactical thing. I can understand if it's like some horns flare, some horns stagger, where we're just getting beaten. It's like we're late, we're playing it right, and they just score. But this is off of like desire and discipline things, which are hard. That's hard to swallow.
Kind of what you're talking about. Washington State was able to get ahead of the defense, get high percentage shots. What do you plan to do to address that? Is that kind of just like the effort thing?
Yeah, we talked a lot about that. Trying to understand why we're coming out flat. 'Cause we've talked about this a lot this year, but I think it really was really evident today. And at home, we usually don't do that. So, understanding why. And I think, I like being down 9 points in a couple minutes, it's not a lot. And I said an example of that is we were up by a certain amount of points against Washington in like 30 seconds, like less than 30 seconds, they scored 9 points. So I think that, not hanging our heads when there's still a minute a game, 2 minutes, a minute 24 is a long time, and you can win games. So I think not hanging our heads and still staying locked in and still thinking that you have a chance to win is the mentality that I just don't know if we have right now. An example is like some of the timeouts. If you look in your team's eyes, like you can look in your eyes and they are gonna locked in, give you everything you had, not like defeat. And I don't know why we have that sometimes. So I talked a lot about just when things are hard, that's when you have to be more cohesive, and that's where you have to like talk and you come together more. And it's everybody can come together when it's 70 and sunny and you're hitting your 6 for 8 and you have 5 rebounds, 4 blocks. Like everybody can do great, but it's when you're 0 for 7. And you're not hitting your shots, like how can you contribute? Well, you can contribute by being a great teammate. You can contribute by being a communicator, connector. You can contribute by saying, hey, I got your back on defense. Like there's things you can do, and it's not all predicated on scoring. And I think that that's the mentality that we have to understand individually and collectively. We are going to win games if we can make stops and be disciplined. And right now we don't have that. We don't have a lot of discipline in certain areas. I'm trying. I don't know. I told them I can't have 3 hours of practice every day right now. It's not feasible. So I think there comes a time where I said, you got to like take some accountability. Like I'm going to take it. This loss is on me. I take that. I mean, it is what it is. And So I have to figure that out. I have to figure out what to do and how to do it, and figure out a strategy to not help us do that. I'm trying to figure it out. It's been taking me a little bit.
Talked about discipline in certain areas. What are those specific areas?
Yeah, like I think the discipline to get stops or play through the 40 minutes. Like an example was Friday, and that was a good example of when it's a better team, you will lose those games, because if you don't have the focus to like not throw the ball away the last 30 seconds and when maintain a lead and put some away and reach our goals defensively, then you're not going to win against the great teams, because those one possession games, you're not going to have the discipline to not go for block shots and the shot clock, to not get the technical fouls. And those are some examples. To not celebrate when you hit a three. Yeah, that's great, but then you go give up a layup on the other end. That's not, that just took away what you just did. So I think those things, and so I think they're young and they're players and they have to learn. So you show those things. But, there just comes a point in the season, and we're in February almost. You got to correct those things by now. And we were kind of talking about the same sense of urgency, but now we have to find a way to do it. I can't make them come out with fire. I can try to simulate different things in practice, but we got to figure it out.
The offense came out cold in both halves there. Had to dig their way out. What do you kind of attribute that to?
To our lack of defensive focus, because we play well on defense, get stops. We're better on offense. I think because then we have chances to run. We have numbers in transition. We don't have we have a lot of people that can score. We have a lot of balance, so we don't have like a go-to. We don't have a legger walker. They can individually really change a game that is going to be 25 and 10. Like, we have balance, which is better, I think. Balance in the sense where you don't know if it's Jade or Shayna or Kate or Ismary, but I think that we have to share the ball and play together. And you see the games where our offense is clicking. Besides Utah, we win games. And then when everybody's involved and you're touching the ball, you're feeling better defensively, so you're going to play better defense. And so I think for us, it starts defensively, and we feed off of that. And you saw we made that big run and fought ourselves, I don't know, miraculously, fought ourselves and came back. But then we just do something stupid, So I just think it's just like not smart things, in the Utah game. Like, yes, it was a very long 1 second. You fumble the ball, you can take a dribble, turn and shoot. Maybe that's not fair, maybe it is. But then the stuff that we can control is not going for the block shot then. On the switch, maybe going for that steal, because it's in the air, trying to tap it on its way down. I think all the little things are what matter. And I talk about the little things every day. So it's the way you start practice. The same things we do in practice, we do in the games. And it's not like it was back in the day. Back in the days, you do that, you get the crap ran out of you. You can't do that anymore. So we talk about it. I know, like, some of the things that happens nowadays, like I would get ran 100 times. I would have ran 20 suicides. We don't call them suicides anymore, we call them 32s. But I would have ran 20, 32s probably in a practice with some of the stuff. And you can't do that, so you got to talk, you got to watch film, the bench is the teacher, it's harder. So I think that it's figuring out a way to find things that motivate you. And the bench is the best teacher, but as a coach, you're trying to win games. So the balance of benching and trying to win games is a hard balance when you don't have 15 All-Americans on a team, right?
Talked about a go-to player and everyone touching the ball. And I mean, we know Jade was that player for ASU last year, but of course they didn't have balance, which you talked about. But also, she didn't touch the ball much at the very beginning, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Do you see that as a problem?
Yeah, so I don't think there's a lot of times where she doesn't touch the ball. I think she missed some shots. I don't think she gets as much high volume as she did at ASU because we have a lot of weapons, which I think takes pressure off her. But I think when we're moving the ball and we're playing with balance, everybody feels like they're touching the ball. Because even as a player, to touch it and reverse it, or to dribble off of an on-ball, pass it, you feel involved. Versus standing in the corner, 1 pass, 2 pass shot. So when it's reverse back, everybody feels involved because you're touching it, you're doing something in the offense, right? But Jade is a shooter. We have to know as a team, I think when you have a selfless team, you need to get her shots. Now, Jade, she had to play a little bit better defense, but she works on it. She wants to. But we need to get her shots. Now, can Jade take some contested shots? Absolutely. because those are the shots that she makes. So I will live with those. She has earned the right, and she works. She can take those shots. And so as a team, I think that figuring out when I'm calling a play for her to come off a stagger, we're trying to get her the ball. And I think the understanding of if she's like Kaylin came in, an example, Kaylin was hot. So the mentality of a winning team and what I'm trying to teach is like feed the hot hand. Then like you may go in the flow, you may do a handoff to give her the ball. You may, but as a team, you're consciously looking for her because she's hot. Maddie came in and hit some threes. So it may not be a play, but she is hot. So I may have a layup. But what am I doing? I'm not taking that layup. I'm feeding her in the corner for a drive drip. That is a selfless team, and we do that at times, and it looks beautiful, and we go on those runs. And at other times, I think that we try to do it ourselves, and that's a difference of championship teams and not, right? So I think when you're consistent, you're perfect at everything, you're a top 5 team in the country, right? So, I mean, these are learning lessons, and like I can look back on the season so far, and even the Final Four year, we were better. Well, some things we were better at. Now we weren't better at scoring. We were better defensively, but we weren't better at scoring. So it is things we can correct, but we have to correct it this month. Like we have February to really correct it and get some wins to be in a good situation, and we have to correct things pretty fast. So.
And just looking at the stat line, like Shayna Pellington had an off night, 2 points and an assist. What do you think she needs to do better to get the ball into your scorer's hand? Yeah,
I think that because Shayna, we need to run this team, and she's done a really good job. I think tonight was one of her worst games. She's played a good season. She's done a lot of great things. She's won some games for us. I think tonight she had to get out of her own head. I think tonight things were moving fast. I think that the paint was really congested, so she tended to get deep and harder to find people. I think there was times when she drove, and I think she could have drove all the way for layups, but she's really trying to get the team involved. So I think that she passed up on some good looks that she normally takes. So I talked to her. We were just talking. I want her to. It's bad for the team if she doesn't take those shots. If she doesn't drive to the rim and transition, it's not good for our team. So I think just the balance of her figuring that out. And I think she felt like she played so bad, and she puts a lot of pressure on herself. And it's normal that as a point guard, you're going to have more scrutiny on anything. And I just told her, I said, welcome to my world, because as a coach, I have 1,000 times that. It's just what it is. Like, you own that and you take it. Like, this is a loss. I own it. Like, it's me. I got to figure it out. Like, yeah, they played bad, but I need to make them not play bad. That's just kind of the territory. That's what it is. And, yeah, I love the hard stuff, and it's hard right now. And I think she felt bad that she couldn't contribute. But I think as you become a mature vet player or professional, you learn that your body language is really important. And like, I think as a coach, like if I'm hanging my head and looking a certain way, people feed off that. So I think just learning how as players, when you're not playing well, regardless of who, Jade, Lauren, Kate, Esmeri, anybody, you can't like be so upset in yourself and in your feelings. You have to figure out a way. You still help the team. It could be great on-ball defense. It doesn't show up in the stat sheet. It could be talking to your teammates. It could be setting your teammates up more when you're not hitting shots. And those are controllable things, and I think those are mature things. And, our teammates get better at that, and that's just a part of learning, and that's why we got to coach them up.
And not that it's on any one player or anything, but how much impact do you think that technical had in the momentum in the fourth quarter?
Tremendous impact, a huge impact, because we had fought so hard and we're playing pretty good to come back. And then down 2, that was a huge momentum shift. It was like the first dagger. So I think, and talking to Esmeri, Esmeri was playing so well, and just keeping your composure. And that's the part of basketball. They always see the second thing. There was a bump before, but that's basketball. Like, you show it with your game. And I think Esmeri realizes that, and it was a mistake. And I'm not the type that's going to hang. I mean, there's nothing to do about it now. It's done. But that's, Elena had one of those slam on the ball at ASU. But those are things you have to teach. Not acceptable by any means. Can't happen again. I don't think she'll do it again. But that was a huge thing. 2 free throws, down 4, and then they scored. So that was a big factor in the game. Not the only factor, but a big factor.
Did you feel like all that time standing around might have affected your shooters? Because it seemed like they just, after that, they weren't hitting anymore.
No, I think the momentum shift was big. I think it was the deflation of we had fought so hard to come back, and we were doing so well. And then that happened. It was kind of like, I think that was just a dagger that was like, all that fighting was basically for nothing. Kind of. I think I think those are mental things. But as a team, there's still, I don't know how much time was left after that. 4 minutes? Yeah, but that's a long time in a game. So I think my thing is that's a long time. So we looked like we were going to lose right then. You don't have to. Whether it's Mary has 4 fouls, she's out. You figure it out, and you still believe you can win. And I don't think we've won enough games like that, so we don't know that. And I think that's learning. But we're going to learn today that you lose like that. But I told them, and I gave the example, we were down 9, or we were up, whatever, 13, whatever, gave up 9 points in like less than 30 seconds against Washington State. So like 4 minutes is a long time. I mean, you could win in a minute. So I think just understanding that. But I think as young people, they put so much pressure, like, oh, the world's going to end, But it's like basketball. You fight and you get stops. And that's why you have pride in your defense. Because when you can defend, you can get stops, and then you go score. So we just have to get a little bit more disciplined defensively, and I just play a little bit more free and figure out a way to be motivated to come out and fight and not get mad when someone comes out and we score a basket, then they get a layup. People should be mad. In the team in the past, they would have been telling each other, you better run back. That's your man, run back. I think that's leadership. And that's, we need someone to step up and hold each other accountable for that stuff. And it's not easy. I mean, if it was easy, everybody'd be great, right? But this is a loss that we deserved. And this one hurts a little bit.
They talked about a couple of the other 90 stars coming in the game. Did you get to talk to Brenda and Lisa? And did they get to talk to you?
Oh, was she at the game? I hope they were at this game. Oh, were they there? Oh, that's not good. Not a good game to be at. But yeah, Brenda. I didn't see who else. Risha was here.
Lisa Griffith and Brenda.
Was Lisa here? Were they here? I think they would have called me if they were here, right?
Yeah,
Brenda Pinto. I think I saw something on Jumbotron quickly, but.
I think they were just noting them, achievements and stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, because Brenda, she's a Pac-12 official. She was my college teammate, but they don't let her officiate here because it's her alma mater. I know, which is unfortunate. She'd probably give us less calls because, it doesn't want to look like you get more calls, but I think the Pac-12 rule is you can't do that. But yeah, Brenda was a great point guard. She used to, I got like 10 layups a game from her. When we were playing together, she led the nation in assists. So now she's actually a really good official. So she's in the Pac-12. We just don't see her. I see her on the road sometimes. Yeah, hopefully one day she'll be in the Ring of Honor. Hopefully. All right. Thanks, you guys.
So it was a tough way to end, but you both came in and really gave your team what you needed to come back. What were you thinking for both of you when you got on the floor? How were things looking for you, and how did it feel out there?
I feel like just going in there and playing hard, trying to do whatever it takes to get the lead and kind of come back. That's kind of what we were supposed to do off the bench. Stay ready, and whenever you go in, just bring that spark and, honestly, do anything that you have to.
Yeah, same kind of like what she said, just coming out, just trying to be a spark off the bench and just do something as quick as possible, whether it is like get a steal, score a couple of points, but just being a spark, really. That's it.
You seem like you're having trouble there, obviously, a little bit. The offense was getting ahead of the defense there. What were your thoughts tonight? Why was it tough for you on defense?
I just feel like we weren't communicating as we should. We practice on the basic things every day. So kind of just applying them in the game. And it really just comes down to communication. We have to talk more because they were running some good plays, but at the end of the day, we have to talk and we have to be in help and, do the little things. So I feel like we definitely have to focus on that more this upcoming weekend, but it was definitely just came down to communication.
Yeah, I feel like also pride as well. We all want to score, but we also have to play defense. So just pride. You don't have to be the fastest in the world, but as long as you have pride, then that's going to go a long way on the defensive end. So just having heart and pride to stop your defender, that's it. That's it.